Hi there, welcome to Story Time with Uncle Bill. This is the 100-day beach finds, day 13. And folks, we're going to be talking about a rare one. It's so rare, when I first seen it, I didn't even know what it was. And maybe even some people would have thought I would, but I just didn't. And I only found it a couple years ago. And it actually is so rare. One of the great things about finding the stuff on the treasures on the beach, the seashells and stuff, and if you don't know about it, it starts engaging your brain to look it up. And man, thank God there's the internet and YouTube and Google and stuff, because it's real easy to find it. I couldn't even imagine back in the day trying to figure this stuff out on your own, you know what I mean? And I've actually got a lot of years and hours on the beach now, so it's easy to understand how people figure stuff out. If you sit out there and try to actually study it, and you pay attention to the tide, and everything changes, so it's all really a lot about chance. But every 6 hours it's guaranteed the tide is going to change. It's going to be a high tide and a low tide, and it's just going to, sometimes there'd only be, that happens 3 times a day, just because the way 24 hours works. So this shell is actually so rare that when the dude introduced it to be the North Carolina state shell, he can only produce 2, and legislature was like, hey, why don't we make it the chicken egg shell, something that we have a lot of and people can find easily, and the dude stood his ground because it is such a pretty shell. So in 1965, North Carolina became the first state to adopt a shell, and that shell was the Scotch bonnet. It's got a really thick opening right there. Really cool pattern. This is called a helmet or a bonnet shaped shell. It actually uses sulfuric acid as an agent. It's kind of busted. As an agent to drill down into its prey and eat it. They like to feed on sand dollars and sea biscuits. You can see they start to fade a little bit. They're called Scotch bonnets because they resemble the bonnet that the Scottish peasants wore in shape and the color of kilts and tartans. This one's kind of cool. It's got a, I don't know if he was about to eat that one or he grew in there later. It's got a shell right in it. That's not one that's, you know, it was in my bag and it pieced together. That's actually in there. This one you kind of see the inner guttings of it. And because that's not the only thing you're going to find out there, check this guy out. Big old piece of coral. Little teeny sea fan with a little shell on it. Pretty cool little guy there. Nice, look at the holes in this, man. Little branches. Here's some little barnacles on an oyster. These are called micro shelling. Hard to find this stuff. Look at this little twisty thing. This man, I love finding this stuff. This is what I call a dinosaur coral. This is just a nice chunk. Look at this piece. Here we got a little cluster. This is called a what do you call that thing? Like a mammoth. It's a mammoth oyster. It's a small one, and it's got coral and worms on it. This is the biggest one. This is the biggest one I ever found. This is probably the prettiest. They don't really get too big. And if they do, I haven't seen them because that's all I got. The Scotch Bonnet, North Carolina State Shell. Man, they're hard to find, man. Imagine going and saying, hey, let's make this the shell, and everybody's saying, nah, you can't even find them. You just can't even find them. I can't. But I bet you somebody right now is sitting at home and has got a whole wall full of them. But that's all I got for today, man. If you can, hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't. Hope everybody's having a good day and staying safe. Peace.